clothes here. I recycled that stuff. I thought by now it would have been made in something new. Isn't that the reason I recycle?
Well, you may think so, but the truth is, much of what we think is being recycled actually ends up in landfills.
Why is that? What's the point of recycling if everything just ends up in the trash?
Well, there's far more to recycling than simply putting your trash in the right bins. While we may have good intentions, the amount of waste being collected for recycling is much greater than the amount actually being recycled. So, a lot of things you thought were recycled still end up in a landfill. Now, let me explain. Like with most things, recycling is a matter of economics. In order for anyone to bother recycling your waste, there needs to be a cost-effective way to recycle the materials and a demand for the recycled materials. Take aluminum cans, for example. There's a high demand because aluminum is an expensive material, and it can be recycled very efficiently into quality material. Now, the cans are easy to recycle and have good shipping density. They can be easily transformed into new aluminum products, so the model, it makes sense. Now, today our attention is more and more focused on plastics. Our society is generating mountains of plastic materials, used in everything from milk bottles to toys to computers to even airplanes. Now, the average American consumes almost 21 gallons of milk per year. That adds up to over 6 billion milk bottles alone each year. Now, the challenge for our generation is finding ways to reuse these materials. Actually, there are many ways to reuse plastics. However, the use of recycled plastics is still far outweighed by the amount of plastic being generated. Now, let's take those foam packing materials you tossed out, for example. They were great for cushioning your new DVD player, but what can you do with them now? The material is technically recyclable, but in reality, it's not so easy to do. Remember the economics. First, the foam is bulky and costs a lot to ship to the recycling plant. Second, to recycle the foam, it must be densified to remove all those tiny little bubbles. Hence, foam is not a valuable commodity to most plastic recyclers. For this reason, many municipalities won't collect it for recycling. They just hand it off to the landfill.
What about my old milk bottle?
The bottle is crushed flat and sent to a processing plant where it's matched up with a lot of the same kind of plastic. Then it's cleaned and reprocessed into raw pellets for resale to companies that use recycled plastic. That's the key. Companies purchasing the recycled pellets make the economics work.
So why don't all companies use recycled plastic?
Well, again, it comes down to economics. First, they need to be making products that can use recycled plastic. And second, it has to be economical to do so. In many cases, a product needs to be designed with recycled plastic in mind for it to make sense. Recycled plastic can be a bit harder to process, and so the characteristics need to be considered. There are a lot of new products out there that can be designed to use recycled plastic pellets, but not enough attention is focused on this issue. A great example is packing materials, 1/3 of our landfill waste. Plastic parts made to replace the foam your new DVD player came in can be made from 100% recycled materials, which means that the companies making them and the companies using them are not using virgin plastic. And from an environmental point of view, the story gets better. By using 100% recycled content, they are actually preventing materials from going into the landfill. Products manufactured from recycled plastic don't require the use of more petrochemicals or other resources. All they need are waste items like used plastic milk, soda, detergent, and juice bottles. And if they're designed right, it doesn't cost companies any more to use these greener, 100% recycled content materials than it does to use the virgin materials. Packing materials are just one example of products that have been designed specifically to use recycled plastics.
So if it's so easy to make new products from my milk bottle, what is it doing in the landfill after I took the time to recycle it?
Remember, currently more plastics are being collected for recycling than are actually being reused. Some of the country's leading electronic companies have already caught on. For example, they are reducing the amount of foam packing they use by switching to a plastic product that uses 100% recycled plastics. And you can do your part by choosing to buy products that are packaged in 100% recycled materials. So that's it. That's the secret to making sure that what you recycle actually gets recycled.